InfoWarsStore.com today to purchase your ProPure Pro 1 G2.0 water filtration system or call 1-888-253-3139.
When you're out on the road, the last place you want to be is on the road. But if the unfortunate happens, you'll be glad you were wearing diamond gussets.
There's a place down in Tennessee where they make blue diamond gusset jeans. They so pride in every stitch, guarantee you love the way they fit. They put a diamond gusset in the crotch where you need it most. Blue diamond gussets got it, others don't.
We turn jeans inside out. Diamond Gusset Jeans. Made in the USA with unparalleled quality. Our Defender motorcycle jeans combine gusset comfort with Kevlar protection, so you can ride all day with confidence. Order yours at gusset.com. Diamond Gusset Jeans got it. Others don't.
Aging starts at the cellular level. When cells become toxic, they die early and aging sets in. In the past decade, we have witnessed unparalleled scientific discoveries. During that period, key patented compounds have focused on mitochondrial growth, nerve growth, and rejuvenation. But no one has put together a formula that focuses directly on brain health, nerve growth factors, and optimizing your cellular energy at the same time. We now have the synergistic solution, DNA Force, just one of the key compounds. BioPQQ is backed by major clinical studies and over 175 PubMed-listed published studies. You want the best that's out there at the lowest price anywhere? The ultimate value, cutting-edge, trailblazing game changer that also supports the InfoWar. Secure your DNA Force today at InfoWarsLife.com or call toll-free 888-253-3139. DNA Force from InfoWars Life.
Using unparalleled research in the development of a synergistic formulation based around the key concepts of super oxygenation, the next level in cleansing is here. With key ingredients backed by real clinical studies, the new Oxy Powder, available through InfoWars Life, was invented during Dr. Group's research on the toxification of our bodies. Many herbal colon cleansers are harsh on the body and contain cheap and potentially dangerous ingredients, oftentimes full of synthetic fillers, GMOs, additives, or worse. Gently start cleaning your body with easy capsules that start working while you sleep. Oxy Powder does not require time off work, and there's no need for bad tasting concoctions. Instead, Oxy Powder slowly releases monoatomic oxygen into the intestinal tract and body. Experience the astonishing cleansing power of superoxide and ozonide technology. Go to InfoWarsLife.com or InfoWarsStore.com to get started with Oxy Powder, or call 1-888-253-3139.
You're listening to The Alex Jones Show. Leading a frontal assault on the lies of the New World Order. It's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network.
All right, I see a ton of calls coming in, but most of them aren't police, firefighters, EMTs, nurses, doctors, or U.S. military, hazmat, WMD, chem, bio, trained. That's who the phones are open for today, at least right now, because we have a guest coming on, Robert David Steele, ran major CIA operations overseas with the U.S. Army and other military groups. I mean, just not an armchair CIA analyst or something, but someone who's actually been in it all over the world. He said 2 weeks before the first Ebola case showed up in the U.S. that his intel was they were going to have an Ebola false flag in the United States. We'll play that clip right now. Here it is.
They will have another false flag. In fact, the false flag I'm hearing about is a simulated Ebola attack in which they actually use biochemical weapons that dissipate, but then they pretend that it's Ebola and that it has been brought here by Saudi martyrs. Okay? So no, we have not reached the end of the false flag line. However, what we have reached is, I did my first graduate thesis on predicting revolution, and there's
full videos up on Infowars.com. I want to hear from the medical workers, because they're the people you notice that are getting it from someone who was allowed to fly in from Africa. And to Rick Perry's credit, he's finally saying shut down the flights. Like Jindal said 3 weeks ago, and Boehner said a week ago, and Rand Paul said 3 weeks ago, he's a medical doctor, and Ted Cruz said 3 weeks ago. Now, or 2.5 weeks ago, now Rick Perry is saying it makes sense, it's common sense. The White House says there's no threat from these flights, but that's how it got here. And here's why people are panicking. You can say thousands die a year from the flu, but that happens all the time. The flu is a very viral airborne virus, so it infects millions, tens of millions, and then you get thousands that end up dying, mainly with compromised immune systems. One inflated estimate's 35,000. You've been hearing that forever. Most medical doctors I talk to and CDC people say it's more like 5,000. And that's people that have diabetes or had heart problems or are already sick in the hospital. But still, it's a serious issue. The reason this is a big deal is that it kills 70% of people that are in an area that has good medical care, 90% if you're in Africa, 91%. I mean, you notice it killed this guy that had U.S. treatment. And they don't know if one of these nurses is going to make it. And you can believe they flew all over the place. And there's all these other flights, hundreds of flights coming in a day full of West Africans. You can believe, common sense tells you it's going to spread. And people don't see the border being controlled. That's been open since January, completely wide open. All these mystery viruses coming across the southern border. The sickest people in Latin America coming here on record to get free health care. You've got Obama letting West Africans fly in. You've got panic on cruise ships, panic everywhere. You've got 5,000 U.S. military, it was 3,000, now 5,000, who don't even have hazmat suits. That's in the news today. This isn't like the flu where you get it and you throw up and, you know, sit on the toilet for a couple days. This is your kid gets it. My kid gets it. 70%, 70%. I'm going to be putting them in the ground. That's why people are hopping mad. And who would have thought I've been warning about this and then it pops up in Dallas? I mean, not fun. In the last few weeks, all these ACL people down here from Dallas just running around coughing and vomiting all the street drunk. I mean, who knows? It can spread for 70 days in semen, 21 days in the rest of the body. By the way, the big dirty secret is that Ebola is really sexually transmitted. That's one of the main ways you get it. It lives in men's testicles. That was even in Reuters. So it can live in there at least 70 days and spread that way. So this is not fun. This isn't like AIDS that kills you over a decade and it's hard to get. This is Ebola. And they keep telling you, oh, it's super hard to get. No, it's not. 2 nurses got it from one guy. And now those nurses with fevers and stuff were on airplanes. The CDC told the one nurse, oh, go ahead and fly. We don't care you were an Ebola nurse. We don't care you called and said, I have a fever. It's okay if I fly. Turns out she had Ebola. So that's why I'm concerned. I want to hear from you on this subject. Here's the toll-free number for police, medical workers, EMTs, military, because they're saying in CNN, military preps team for Ebola response in U.S. The U.S. military has a quick strike team equipped to provide direct treatment to Ebola patients out of the United States. A Defense Department official told CNN's Barbara Starr today. The Pentagon spokesman later confirmed portions of the official information. Well, Obama announced these military SWAT teams last week, which is all for pure show. If you wanted to stop it, you'd shut down the borders and you would stop the flights like everybody else did months ago, including the African countries surrounding it. But they've got news articles out by the White House. They run Media Matters saying I'm a racist because I've said to control the borders. There's Kurt Nemo's article just broke at Infowars.com. Pentagon prepares strike team for Ebola. And see, I'm not for tyranny, locking people up when they have drug immune, TB, or resistant, or this. But if you don't, then it spreads, and then they lock everybody down. Don't you understand that? Oh, it's incredible. We're going to go to Jim in FEMA Region 6. Texas is part of that. Medical worker. Then we got John, who's a chemical op specialist. And we've also got aircraft mechanic wants to comment. I'd like to hear from custodians that have got to work on these airplanes that are striking because they're full of vomit and everything coming out of West Africa. Again, you can pull it up. People are flying in, dying on airplanes, and they don't even test them. They just say, oh, they don't have Ebola. The man died of a vomiting fit flying into JFK Thursday night, but they said no Ebola without even doing a test. I mean, it looks like a cover-up. Let's get to one call before we go to break. Jim, you say you're a medical worker. What's your take on this?
Problem, reaction, solution. I would like to get your take on this being a big, huge placebo pill, a CIA psyop, false flag drill to take more of our civil liberties.
Well, that's what Steele, Robert David Steele, formerly with the CIA, said 2 weeks before this guy even showed up in the news. Now, since then, he was back on one of my guest hosts, I think it was David Knight, and said, well, he's not sure if this is that, but that's what he was, quote, hearing. We're going to talk to him coming up in the next hour and take your calls. But I think there's real Ebola in Africa. Something's killing everybody. Is it the vaccines? The major African newspapers with epidemiologists and virologists are saying this is a false flag 3 weeks ago. And the government has a history of putting stuff in vaccines and doing this. My grandmother got polio from the polio vaccine in the 50s, so could be. What do you think?
Absolutely. This has everything to do with vaccinations. I don't believe that it has nothing to do with Ebola, but I think it has everything to do with mass vaccinations, and it's a way to keep us down, to keep us in a fear state. That's why I believe it's just a big, huge placebo pill.
Well, it's kind of like Red Adair, as I said last week, would blow up oil well fires with a bigger explosion. You've got dozens and dozens of scandals, everything from Benghazi to Fast and Furious to the IRS going after people to the NSA to our government funding Al-Qaeda and changing the name to ISIS. And so then you have this huge Ebola thing that even though it makes Obama look bad, it allows his buddies, this guy with Al Gore, who used to run Al Gore's operations, are going to be able to control the hundreds of billions of dollars doled out in the Ebola, Fight Ebola Fund. And then Obama skates off with pardons into the sunset. I think you're really onto something.
Well, keep doing a good job. I'm going to keep taking the colloidal silver and the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. It's good to keep your immune system up anyway, in case this isn't a false flag. But we have to remain diligent and, keep moving forward.
I'm glad you make that point. I am not, in my gut, I am less worried about Ebola than I am about MRSA and all these antibiotic-resistant bacteria and drug-resistant viruses that are just killing people all over the place. That's why I'm trying to boost my body's natural defenses with the entire InfoWarsLife.com line of products, whether it's Beyond Tangy Tangerine or Colloidal Silver or Survival Shield Nascent Iodine X2. It's the type you can ingest, and it is so good for the body. That's exactly what I'm doing, and it supports the transmission. So, folks, visit InfoWarsLife.com today or 888-253-3139. After consulting top doctors, nutritionists, pharmacists, and others, we have developed what I believe is the ultimate non-GMO organic Super Male Vitality formula. Super Male Vitality by InfoWars Life is so powerful that I only take half the recommended dose.
I jump out of bed ready to fight these criminals every day. I look forward to waking up and taking my Super Male Vitality.
Visit InfoWarsLife.com today to secure your Super Male Vitality and other powerful products from InfoWars Life.
The government's Department of Homeland Security is buying up loads of ammo. At the same time, they're restricting civilians' rights to own and purchase firearms. Can you put two and two together? Infidel Body Armor can stop every round, including hollow points and .308 sniper rounds, is reasonably priced and fully legal. But for how long? Go to InfidelBodyArmor.com, spelled INFIDEL bodyarmor.com. Infidel Body Armor. Just won't quit.
General, what do you think about the FBI saying that there's a terror alert on Monday about a potential Fort Hood situation?
The police are shoving people, shoving Alex, shoving the crowd.
Here we go, folks. I'm being assaulted.
Whether it's the radio show, the news websites, documentary films, or the nightly news, InfoWars is the tip of the spear.
Is this another false flag stage attack to take our civil liberties and put more homeland security on sticking their hands down on the pants on the streets?
It's up to us to set brush fires in the minds of men and women everywhere. And that's what PrisonPlanet.tv is designed to do.
You watch the Assad
Assad regime is going to be blamed or accused of using chemical weapons against the so-called rebels.
What we see now is a war against reality. It's a war against the truth.
It's more vital than ever that supporters of freedom become members of PrisonPlanet.tv and share their membership with up to 11 friends and